Finding the perfect list of the top 10 dumbest dog breeds was a Herculean task. Seriously, it felt like wading through a swamp of contradicting opinions, all barking at me about who's the real champion of canine ridiculousness. Every list had a different take on which pooch was the poster child for special behavior. So there I was, caught between deciding who's delightfully dim and who's just having a permanent oops moment. Now, if your dog made it onto this list, let me first say, don't take it personally. It doesn't mean your furry friend is dumb. Oh no, it just means they're, exercising alternative problem-solving strategies. Think of them as being in their philosophical era, pondering life instead of fetching sticks. Is this list a little unfair? Probably. Am I qualified to judge? Absolutely not. But hey, one thing I'm 100% confident about is my number one pick. And here's the comforting truth. These dogs might not have a lot of brain power to spare, but that's because all their heart has absorbed it. Every ounce of love they give leaves their brains running on fumes, and we wouldn't have it any other way. If stubbornness were an Olympic sport, your Basset Hound would take home the gold every time. Once this droopy-faced dynamo locks onto a goal, there's no stopping him. He'll ignore you, your commands, and even the meaning of life if it gets in his way. Got a plan? Too bad, because your Basset's tenacious alter ego just kicked in. When it comes to chasing prey, they're like furry little Terminators. Nothing stands in their way, fences? Overrated. Dirt? Perfect for digging. Distance? Just another opportunity to show off their endurance. They'll stop only when they've caught the prey or passed out trying, whichever comes first. And as for discipline? Go ahead, scold them for turning your couch into a trampoline or conducting midnight sprints through the living room. A tenacious Basset Hound doesn't have time for grudges, they've got naps to take and chaos to plan. On the plus side, Basset Hounds are a joy to be around. They'll charm your friends, cuddle your kids, and, yes, probably offer a burglar a lick and a warm welcome. With a heart as soft as their floppy ears, these pups wouldn't know how to hold a grudge or a mean thought if their lives depended on it. Mastiffs, the dog breed equivalent of a lovable, overgrown toddler who refuses to grow up. They're less about guarding your home and more about watching the squirrels outside with the intensity of a daytime soap opera enthusiast. These big, floppy goofballs are playful, silly, and have a knack for galloping around like they're auditioning for a canine comedy show. But don't expect them to act like grown-ups anytime soon, mentally and physically. They're in puppy mode until they hit the ripe old age of 3. That's right, 3 years of chaos before they, sort of, settle down. At a whopping 200 pounds, Mastiffs are absolutely convinced they're lapdogs. Forget personal space, you'll be wearing one as a full-body blanket. And if you're thinking of training them as outdoor watchdogs, think again. Their guarding strategy involves lying down, looking deeply melancholic, and hoping burglars feel bad enough to leave. Despite their massive size, these so-called gentle giants are as intimidating as a marshmallow in a snowstorm. Beneath all that bulk lies a heart so soft it practically melts. They're kind, calm, and devoted family dogs who just want to be loved, and maybe steal a spot on your couch. Sure, they're high maintenance thanks to their colossal size, but the endless affection and companionship make it all worthwhile. Beagles are the life of the party, assuming the party involves chasing imaginary rabbits, stealing snacks, and leaving destruction in their wake. These sniff-happy foodies are born hunters with instincts so hardwired they track a breadcrumb trail right into your heart and your pantry. Speaking of food, beagles aren't just eaters, they're culinary outlaws. Forget leaving a sandwich unattended, these four-legged Houdinis will have it gone faster than you can say bad dog. Fast friends, yes. Protector of the house, not so much. He sounds the alarm but runs for belly rubs. Beagles are living, tail-wagging sitcoms. Whether it's their goofy faces, unexpected somersaults, or epic fails at catching toys, they specialize in making humans laugh. Need peace and quiet? Don't get a beagle. These vocal virtuosos love a good howl, especially if it's triggered by an ambulance siren, a passing squirrel, or absolutely nothing at all. Ever wanted a dog with a deep appreciation for fox poop as a perfume? Well, congratulations, you found your match. Beagles will happily roll in the stinkiest stuff they can find, your olfactory senses be damned. Beagles don't do alone time. Leave them to their own devices, and they'll return the favor by turning your couch into confetti. Their separation anxiety comes with a side of destruction you never asked for. Potty training a beagle? Good luck. These stubborn little stinkers are experts at testing your patience and your carpet cleaning skills. Basenjis, a delightful combo of affection and attitude. Without consistent training and firm leadership, these little enigmas will gleefully transform into stubborn, willful dictators of your household. Sure, they adore their families and cling to their humans like Velcro, but don't expect them to roll out the welcome mat for strangers. They're more stranger danger than open arms. Early socialization is a must unless you want a four-legged snob on your hands. Basenjis, the strong, silent type of the dog world. Sure, they won't wake up your neighbors with endless barking, making them seem like the perfect apartment companions, but don't let their quiet demeanor fool you. These little bundles of energy will happily redecorate your living room if they don't get their daily dose of exercise. Quiet, yes. Lazy? Not a chance. Oh, and that strong prey drive? Let's just say your cat or pet bunny might prefer a less enthusiastic housemate. While socialization might curb their inner hunter, you'll still need to stay on your toes because Basenjis believe vigilant management is a game they intend to win. Bloodhound. Described as stubborn, even-tempered, affectionate, gentle, because lazy, independent, and prone to drama doesn't have the same marketing pizzazz. Every bloodhound I've met has lived up to the description, plus a bonus feature, lovable goober mode. Yes, these floppy-eared detectives of chaos come pre-installed with it. Sure, they're independent and stubborn, which is a polite way of saying, good luck trying to tell them what to do. Training requires patience, or maybe a saint's level of restraint, because once a bloodhound decides it's not interested, you're pretty much debating with a furry brick wall. Oh, and that stubborn streak? It's the universal hallmark of every so-called dumb breed. Funny how in humans we sometimes call it determined or confident, but for dogs, it's just them being difficult. Double standards much? And heaven forbid you let one off leash. The second their super sniffer picks up a scent, it's game over. Call them back all you want, it's like yelling at a marathon runner mid-race. Once they're locked onto a trail, they'd probably follow it into another time zone if they could. But after a solid walk and some exercise, dragging you around the neighborhood like a one-dog freight train, they magically transform into the most laid-back, sofa-hogging couch potatoes you've ever met. Honestly, they're just lovable goofs who work hard at sniffing and snoozing, sometimes in that order, sometimes not. The Borzoi, a regal comedian wrapped in fur. Picture this, a dog that can go from acting like a slapstick goofball to an aristocratic statue of serenity in mere seconds. That's the Borzoi for you. They're gentle, friendly, and playful, but don't get too attached to that playful vibe because they'll suddenly switch to a calm, introspective stare that says, "Why are you so loud, human?" Need a watchdog? Well, these dogs might alert you when someone's at the door, but don't count on them to do anything about it. Borzois are the walking definition of all bark, no bite, except sometimes they skip the bark part altogether. A stranger is more likely to get a judgmental side-eye than an actual confrontation. Borzois are social butterflies with other dogs but might not get a standing ovation from your resident cat or small pets. Their hunting instincts might transform your hamster into an unwelcome houseguest. Choose wisely. Here's a fun quirk. Some Borzois have a flair for the dramatic and tend to pant like they've just run a marathon, except they haven't. It's not a medical emergency, it's just Borzoi theatrics. If you're the type who'd call the vet every time, you might want to reconsider because this panting habit is part of their unique charm. Oh, and they don't do well left alone, so if your idea of companionship is an independent dog, the Borzoi will promptly prove you wrong with their "I'm lonely, let's talk about it" energy. But don't worry, they'll do it with grace. Chow Chow, the aloof dog. Ah, the Chow Chow. A dog that doesn't just march to the beat of its own drum, it composes the entire symphony. Originating from China, this lion named Enigma with a blue-black tongue is the James Dean of the canine kingdom, a rebel without a cause, or perhaps just without the patience for your nonsense. Stubborn? Oh, you bet. Strong-willed? That's putting it mildly. The Chow Chow doesn't come when called, it considers your request and then decides whether you're worth its time. Spoiler, you're probably not. Affectionate? Not unless you count a regal nod in your direction as a grand gesture of love. They're not needy, clingy, or desperate for belly rubs. Instead, they'll bestow their loyalty on you like it's a rare commodity, and trust me, it is. Cleanliness is next to chowliness with this breed. They're like the Marie Kondo of the dog world, often grooming themselves meticulously and looking down their noses at Messier species, or humans. Barking? Oh, they bark just enough to remind you they're in charge, but never so much as to seem uncouth. But let's not sugarcoat things, those 44 teeth, yes, 2 more than the average dog, are there for a reason. If they decide you've crossed a line, they've got the hardware to back up their opinions. These teeth aren't just for show, they're perfect for a firm handshake, Chow Chow style. Ultimately, a Chow Chow is the perfect pet for someone who wants a roommate rather than a shadow, a companion rather than a clingy sidekick. Respect their independence, and you'll earn the devotion of a creature who sees itself less as your pet and more as your equal. Training a Pekingese is like negotiating with a tiny, furry dictator who firmly believes the world revolves around them, and let's be honest, they're not entirely wrong. These pint-sized emperors are independent to a fault, meaning they've mastered the art of selective hearing and will only entertain your commands if it aligns with their royal agenda. Consistency and patience are your weapons in this battle of wills, but prepare to lose a few skirmishes along the way. Their independent streak is impressive until you realize independent is code for stubborn as a mule in a crown. If they don't see the value in sit or stay, good luck convincing them otherwise. They've got better things to do, like guarding their favorite chew toy as if it's the crown jewels. And speaking of toys, or food, don't expect to borrow anything without a full-scale negotiation. Sharing isn't in their vocabulary, it's all theirs, thank you very much. When it comes to young kids, Pekingese can be, let's say, selective about their audience. Their strong-willed nature doesn't always mesh well with the unpredictable chaos of toddlers, so they might not be your top choice for a house full of pint-sized humans. That said, once you've earned their trust and respect, which, let's be honest, is a bit like winning over royalty, they'll be your shadow, glued to your side with a loyalty that rivals your most devoted fan. Whether you're watching TV or moving to the next room for absolutely no reason, your Pekingese will follow, gazing up at you with an expression that says, "I might not always listen to you, but you're still my favorite human." Their love is steadfast, their devotion unshakable, and their presence? Absolutely unforgettable. English Bulldog. When it comes to behavior, these furry jesters are a non-stop source of entertainment. Their legendary snorting and snoring could easily land them a spot in the world's most annoyingly adorable sounds competition. It's like having your very own, slightly broken sound machine. When the mood strikes, they'll play with the enthusiasm of a caffeinated squirrel, darting around like they've just discovered the concept of fun. But let's be real, that energy fizzles out fast. They're more about the lazy life, treating any form of exercise as if it's an optional subject they're flunking. A leisurely stroll is fine, but they'd prefer you carry them halfway, thank you very much. British Bulldogs are basically the cuddly couch potatoes of the dog world, oozing charm and affection when it suits them, of course. Loyal? Absolutely. They'll stick by your side, especially if you're holding a snack. Protective? Sure, they'll fiercely guard the couch or their favorite napping spot. And let's not forget their stubborn streak. Training a bulldog is less about teaching them commands and more about negotiating with a furry, wrinkled diva who thinks they know better than you. Number 1, the undisputed champion of dumb Afghan Hound. Ah, yes, the Afghan Hound. Or as I like to call it, a cat cosplaying as a dog. Seriously, who let this feline in fur boots into the dog category? Personality? Oh, it's got plenty stubborn, moody, aloof, and just a sprinkle of too good for you arrogance. Basically, this dog will ignore you while looking fabulous. It's not dumb. It's more like, why should I listen to you when I can admire myself in the mirror? Sure, the Afghan Hound is friendly enough. That's a sitcom waiting to happen. Picture your child begging for fetch while this diva of the dog world lounges on the couch, yawning dramatically. Training? LOL, good luck. They'll obey if and when it suits them. Hair care? Hope you enjoy paying for a salon every week. Walks? Think marathon, not sprint. Growing up? They're puppies until they're not, and even then, they're basically teenagers forever. Independence? You're lucky if they even acknowledge your existence. Now, to be fair, Afghan Hounds do have their quirks. They're weirdly graceful, almost cat-like in how they groom themselves. Yes, they preen. They also have an innate "I'm better than this" attitude, which somehow makes them endearing. But wait, there's more. Thanks to their hunter DNA, these prima donnas have a prey drive that's off the charts. Oh, you have a pet hamster? That's adorable. Just don't blink, or your Afghan might mistake it for a snack. In conclusion, Afghan Hounds are majestic enigmas with the soul of a cat, the independence of a teenager, and the intelligence of, well, let's just say they're an acquired taste. Let me know in the comments section if your dog fall in this category or if you have a smart dog. I live for dog stories.